Welcome everybody to a special episode. This could get bad.
We did not have any ideas for what else to do.
Well, we did, but unfortunately something... So, before we get started...
With a special guest appearance... Is that Michael Hayes?
Yes.
You didn't pick Michael Hayes?
I'm trying
that drunken racist redneck? You didn't pick him?
He shows up. Don't worry. I go through the entire roster.
Does he fight Mark Henry?
No, he doesn't.
Damn it!
I was trying to pick a random...
That would be extremely meta.
So I was trying to pick a random selection, and it don't have a random select for some reason. So, anyway... The whole point of this particular video, we are going to be discussing this week in wrestling.
And then, hopefully it'll get uploaded sometime close to the week we talked about it.
Well, I don't have to edit this up and chop it up. I'm just going to post it as one big video. So,
Keith J. Snyder!
I gave him, like, the casino background.
Too bad Gangrel or the Vampire Warrior or Kevin Thorne. Oh, by the way, great job, WWF. A vampire named Kevin.
Oh, man.
We're gonna have this guy. He's like a really big, tough guy. He's gonna be a vampire. And he's gonna be super goth and scary. What's his name? Kevin. I
did like his finisher, but that's about it. It was just a hangman stunner.
Yeah, which is a really cool move and everything. And that big nippled gothic Latin broad who hung out with him was really hot and shit. But
yeah. So.
Wait, what? I call bullshit. No way Keith moves that fluidly.
You just kind of have to roll with it. So.
Where is Machocho? Where is she?
Ricky the Dragon kidnapped her. Are we going to talk about this, or do you just want to keep going with what we're doing?
You're the one who created Keith J. Snyder, not me.
All I gotta say is wait till we get to the final match.
Oh dear.
Okay.
What the fuck? I've never played All Stars.
Oh, it's completely arcadey, over the top, awesome.
Well then he needs to start flying up into the air more. Okay, I see you've got, the fists of steel kung fu punches.
Yes, you can, if you hit them with it, it bounces them either into the ropes, off the corner, or something like that. I think I gave Keith Brawler, because there are classes in this game, kind of.
Why? Because Wooden Idiot wasn't available?
Yes, and I thought Brawler was the most generic one. So that's why I gave it to Keith.
Oh, Keith! He's so bland! He's just so bland. I love him. He's the Rod of video game characters.
Surprisingly enough, they didn't have just a big tribal on the arm, so I just kind of had to work with what I had.
My God, like with all of the wrestlers with generic tribal tattoos that actually exist, we couldn't find one that was sort of close to Keith's.
They didn't have not one that went down the arm. So, here is his big signature move.
Oh yeah, he's using his electric stun attack thing from the game. It's very accurate.
I thought about giving him a stun gun move. But unfortunately the downside of this game is you pick another wrestler's moveset and you can just change their finisher. That's pretty lame. And you have to unlock finishers. So
Sumo.
So
Sumo Keith.
Right now I have like one finisher or two finishers unlocked. So that's why he's got a rock bottom. Because it was either that or, like, the attitude adjustment. And I'm like, I'd rather go with the Uranagi. Given the attitude adjustment,
I like
might have been more
that you got hit
bland.
with Sister Abigail there. This game predicted the coming of the Wyatt family.
You just have to believe that they're coming.
Yeah. Okay, so that segues beautifully into us actually talking about Raw. Good job, Rando.
Yeah. So, let's see. The opening of Raw was what? The Evolution or Stephanie? I don't remember.
It was Stephanie.
Okay, yeah, calling out Bryan, saying that he's going to have to give up the title. And just doing the generic heel boss rundown, like, oh, he can't defend it, but I won't strip him from it. He needs to give it up.
Yeah, the only thing, the only reason I don't get pissed off at, like, how boring the Authority is because Stephanie is so good at being a heel that I just let it go.
You can believe she's a bitch.
You really can. But she's just so wonderfully passive-aggressive and irritating.
It's a complete opposite of what Triple H does, and I think that's why it works. Whereas
Yeah.
Triple H is like the bully, Stephanie's a condescending bitch.
Yeah.
And I love Ed's jawline, by the way. Look at that thing.
What the fuck?
Everybody's a caricature. So
They got Robert Zadar to play Edge. God, that guy's got a small face.
I do like the caricature look that this game has. But speaking of huge faces, so Bryan had to give up the title, or supposed to. And instead we got him doing the typical good guy refusal thing halfway through the show.
Which was fine. I actually kind of like that it added a level of intrigue for the pay-per-view, because now it's Bree's ass on the line.
Yes, and they're still keeping the Authority against Bryan, and it's working more. Instead of, like what they did with Punk when they gave him the title, they just kind of left him alone.
Yeah, so... Oh no, The Miz. I'm glad I haven't seen him on my television lately.
When's the last time he wrestled? When's the last time he attempted to wrestle, I should say?
When's the last time he mizzed?
He misses a lot.
Yeah.
We hate The Miz. Like, a lot.
It's beyond hatred at this point.
Like, I remember seeing him on the second season of Tough Enough and just calling him the real world reject.
I would rather see Jinder Mahal as the world champion, main eventing WrestleMania against an 85-year-old Hulk Hogan, than watch one Miz promo, even if it's for like 10 seconds.
Do you remember Miz TV? Of course you don't. Nobody does.
No, I missed it. That was a pun.
It was. We're not going to be able to stay on topic, and we're just going to keep dissing the wrestlers we watch.
Isn't that the point?
Yes. Because, let's face it, watching this is still more entertaining than watching Raw or SmackDown anymore.
I thought Raw was pretty good. I mean, I liked the shit that the Wyatts did. Taking Jerry Lawler hostage.
Okay,
I'm just, I'm not like on the Cena hate wagon, but I don't like him either.
I feel rather indifferent to Cena. I'm tired of seeing him, but he's the Hulk Hogan of this generation. We're going to be stuck with him.
What I don't like is that how am I supposed to care about this feud no matter how awesome Bray Wyatt can cut a promo? The fact is, Cena's already beaten all three of them twice.
Clean.
I mean, the cage match was downright embarrassing. I mean...
He only lost that to typical way Cena loses, some bullshit.
But he still beat all three of them. All three of them were clearly clearly and definitively beaten in the ring, he could have just walked out of the fucking cage.
Yes.
I don't know if that was his idea how to work a match, or if that was Booking's idea of how they should work the match, but it was stupid.
It made the Wyatts look weak.
And that's what they've been doing since WrestleMania.
So, is it me, or does it look like they're just building up the Wyatts to feed them to Cena?
That's what it always looks like to everybody, to just feed everybody to Cena, because fuck forbid somebody, Cena, suffers a paralyzing neck injury or blows out his knee and has to be gone for, 6 months, or he has to be gone permanently. Let's not have any heels to replace when heels get killed. Let's not have any potential top baby faces to replace the guy if for some reason that guy gets killed or permanently injured. Let's just keep putting all of our eggs in one basket. That's never done any harm, has it?
Speaking of which, this is the Hulk Hogan era all over again, isn't it? Where you have the one huge baby face and a couple other ones underneath him, but they're not putting anybody else over him. So if something were to happen...
what happened? Hogan left, and they had to start from scratch.
They had Brett lined up, but then Hogan refused the job to Brett, so... what did that leave? A company with no huge baby face and some minor heels.
Yeah, oh god, the cartoon era. The cartoon era, as everybody likes to call it, or as I like to call it, the side occupational era. You ever notice in the early and mid-90s everybody had a different occupation as well as being a wrestler? We had garbage men, we had clowns, we had plumbers, we had repo men.
Taxmen.
Yeah, taxmen who...
Barbers.
Taxmen who birth and raise psychotic southern Gentiles.
Speaking of which, for those who don't know, Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are the children of IRS. Erwin R. Shyster.
Yeah. Admittedly always a fantastic wrestler in his day. Just
a horrible gimmick.
Always saddled with terrible gimmicks, and never, I don't know if he ever got the opportunities, or if he just didn't have the it factor to be a top star in one of the major companies. But I always thought he was totally underutilized. But it's just like, they don't look anything like him, I don't think.
I couldn't tell. I mean, Bo and Bray both look alike themselves. They look like they're related.
Yeah, well that's something I kind of I wanted to touch on was, I was all for Bo Dallas. I was totally getting into him. I was totally believing that shit. And, here I am dropping the catchphrases. I'm totally into that. And I mentioned this to you earlier, where I just kind of feel like this character is Bray Wyatt in reverse.
I was about to say that. Is it me, or does he look like the complete opposite, but the same as Bray?
He's still just as sick, he's still just as delusional, except he's obsessed with positivity over evil.
Yeah.
Which is just as sick, because when you obsess over one thing, and you pervert things into whatever you want them to be, well, that's how insanity develops, and you wind up, pushing John Cena for 10 years. So...
I do like him doing the Tebow in the ring.
Oh, and another thing is, I like how Bradshaw sounds like a brainwashed disciple already.
How he's just going with Bray? Or a believer?
Yeah, he's just constantly, using the word Bo and everything he can, and talking about what an incredible inspiration he is.
I thought that was good.
Even though he has done absolutely nothing to show how inspirational he is.
Well, for Bradshaw especially, he's over NXT, so he's been watching Bo since the NXT day. So I think that's what they're going with, but if you don't watch NXT, it's completely out of left field.
Yeah, so, about 90% of people think it's completely out of left field, and I love NXT. I was surprised to see Adam Rose on SmackDown, I think.
He debuted on SmackDown last week, and then he came back on SmackDown this week to wrestle Swagger.
Yeah, the Swagger match. I noticed he actually got a little bit more of a pop. I mean, so far, all of his in-ring promos over the last month or so have just been... The audience just doesn't know what the fuck to think about him.
In England, they were just 100% behind him. Like, they did an interview with him in ring, and they would not stop doing his theme song.
Yeah, and I noticed that they started doing that in the SmackDown match against Swagger. So I mean, I've been watching him since NXT when he was a South African guerrilla war fighter.
And then he goes to the Raver.
Yeah, what the fuck is that one British comedian that everybody thinks is hilarious, but I couldn't even begin to give a shit less?
Is it Ricky Gervais or?
No, Ricky Gervais is that ugly British guy who's like really sarcastic all the time.
Oh, okay. British comic that.
It's like Robbie or some shit. I don't fucking care.
I'm not sure.
The guy who looks like John Leguizamo with long hair.
Oh, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand! There we go. I wasn't even remotely close.
It took me forever. I'm like, because I completely forget about him.
Well, there's nothing to remember about him to me.
He is not funny. I do not like him. I do not like his show. I do not like his stand-up. I do not like the man, Sam I Am.
I do not like Russell Brand.
I do not like him in the stand. I would not like him on the stand. I do not like this man, Russell Brand.
We've just written a great comedy sketch, and if we got Russell Brand to actually do it, that would be like the funniest thing ever.
It would be a slight redeeming quality for him.
We could make Russell Brand funny! So, okay, what the fuck else? I'm trying to go through... I mean, it's like without commercials, SmackDown is only about an hour and 24 minutes long. And it's like 60% recaps anyway.
Especially right before a pay-per-view. The matches were, we had Big E versus Titus O'Neil.
Which, who gives a shit? I was glad to see Rusev. I'm actually starting to get into Rusev. I mean, I've been into Lana since the start.
They're building up Big E versus Rusev at the pay-per-view. You know, two just big old fucking dudes going at it.
Boss fight!
And then, of course, you know, Big E squashes Titus because Titus is the jobber.
Yeah.
Which is great compared to last week. I don't know if you watched it or not, but he just botched everything like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard, via the internet, which is always accurate, that he's been campaigning since before WrestleMania 30 to get a singles push. Yep. I guess he didn't want to team with that fag who was getting them all sorts of good press for being openly gay.
Yeah, and then, you know, they had them feud for 2 weeks, and then it was over.
Yeah, and where the hell is he now? Yeah, you got us all this great press for, being a tolerant company towards gays. You would think they would at least give him an intercontinental push or a tag team title or
another tag partner or something, huh?
Something! And now it's just like, yeah, you're gay, shut up, go. Get out there and lose to somebody.
And he jobbed to Titus for, I think, the last match they had.
Yeah. And just Titus... Yes, he is a basset hound, and I guess, he's an okay wrestler. I just don't find anything special about him.
He's a generic big guy wrestler, that's about it.
He would be better off in a tag team with somebody.
Somebody small and agile would be a great contrast to him.
Yeah, and get Ron Simmons to manage him.
Damn!
Damn!
Love you, Ron. But
look, Ron, you're the first Black World Heavyweight Champion, and you kicked ass.
And he had a wicked spinebuster. I loved his spinebuster.
Yeah, wicked spinebuster. Just a good all-around in-ring guy.
Yeah. And good guy, period, from what I understand.
From what I've heard, yeah. I mean, no reason to
hate the man. Yeah. And then the other matches we had were Paige versus Snuka's granddaughter or daughter.
Yeah.
Tamina, thank you.
I gotta say, I gotta talk about Alicia Fox, because I've been digging Alicia Fox for the last few weeks.
Her crazy turn.
I love that a female is finally, like, the cause of her meltdown was she didn't win a title and she wants to be a champion. How fucking crazy is that these days?
How crazy is it for a woman in the WWE to want anything?
Divas don't want to fight over belts or who's the best. They fight over stupid fucking shit, like who's more popular on a stupid reality show.
And then make fun of the other divas, because they're not the stereotypical pretty one.
They're not hot enough in some stupid fashion or another.
Like, that's the one thing I picked up. They were, like, there for like 3 weeks. They were running down Natalya. Because Natalya... Who's the best wrestler of the group?
Well, I'll argue whether she's the best wrestler, but I mean, it's just...
Well, out of the Total Divas.
Why do they always pick on her? Like they gave her the worst gimmick I think that might be the worst gimmick I've ever seen. She's a chick who farts? What?
I've not watched a single moment of Total Divas, so I'm not sure.
No, that was like over a year ago, maybe even longer, where that was just Natalya's gimmick, was that she farted. And it was just like, really? That's what you have for her? You know?
The first time I saw Natalya was when...
That was how you get her involved in angles?
The first time I saw Natalya is when they had the New Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
That was the first time, and then she disappeared for a while, and I stopped watching for a while, and then I came back and she was just a heel diva.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen of her.
What's weird is, like, the women's division is starting to build itself up again. A lot of that can be credited to the fact that they hired one of the best female wrestlers in the world, Sarah Del Rey, to do the training of the females. But it's bullshit, because Sarah Del Rey's not wrestling, and I like seeing her wrestle.
Well, like, I felt like, I like Paige. I felt like she's had some of the better diva matches.
Yeah, and her stuff on NXT really, I'm not gonna say it's better, because it's different. I mean, she was the dominant champion in that company.
And now she's the underdog.
Yeah, she's the underdog because she's the little girl making it to the big leagues.
Right.
So, and I like that they work with that, and she thinks she does a good job as an underdog. And also she uses the Scorpion Crosslock and the kneeling Texas Cloverleaf, and that kicks ass.
Yes. And I felt like she's actually managed to pull off some better matches as a whole with some of the, main roster divas.
Yeah, and again, Alicia Fox is improving in the ring, like, leaps and bounds, or maybe they just finally gave her a chance to show that she could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking, I think the Divas match might actually be one of the better matches of the pay-per-view.
Giving us some hope there, WWE. Giving us some hope. Don't do that too often.
Let's see, what's some of the other matches? We had several throwaway matches that were nothing.
Yeah, so we threw them away.
Yes, I mean, we had, like on SmackDown...
I believe some of them involved Jack Swagger, no reason to talk.
Yes, they had him job to Adam Rose in a comical manner.
Yeah.
So.
Sheamus wrestled Sheamus wrestled against Alberto Del Rio, and I'm gonna just tell you I didn't watch it, because I like both of those guys, but I don't care about those guys.
Yes, and then it ended with what? Cesaro coming out and beating down Sheamus post-match.
Yeah. And do I even need to continue gushing over how much I love Cesaro? I've been watching that guy since 2004.
I've seen some clips of him, and I like the tag team move where he does the big swing and the other guy drop kicks him as he swings them.
Yeah.
That was sick looking.
I told you that, there was a tag team back in the XPW days. They wrestled in other companies too, folks, don't worry. That was Damien 666 and Halloween's finishing move. They called it Montezuma's Revenge.
And I really dig the big swing. It's such an old school move that nobody does anymore, so it's...
Yeah. I miss Bryan Danielson in ROH when he used to do the airplane spin, and there's just that there's just that awesome trios tournament where he literally spins everybody in the ring. he gets the other guys, and he spins them all, but he's so dizzy that he just grabs the nearest body and he winds up spinning his partners out of control. And I think they recorded like a total like 300 rotations between everybody.
Speaking of rotations, is it me or can they not count how many swings Cesaro does? Like, have you noticed that?
Well, it's hard to do because you don't know what angle you're supposed to like start and end from, and they're always changing the angle on the camera. So
yeah, but it's like they count like in half seconds, I guess. At least that's what it feels like. So it's like, oh, he spun him for 10 seconds. Oh, he spun him 20 times. I mean, it's still great. Well, it feels that way, I should say. Like, you know.
Well, I'm the guy on the couch counting the swings and then getting pissed off when the camera angle changes.
I know, like, I'm counting, like, okay, when his head hits that position, I'm gonna count at 1. Okay, 1,
okay.
2, camera change. Fuck!
Fuck!
And then I just have to take their word for it when they say he spun him 16 times.
Yeah. Oh, I'm also shocked that I've become a Wade Barrett fan.
B&B?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get sued by DDP for that commentary.
Well, it makes sense.
It's B&B. And then he does the thing with the hands, and I'm like, watch that.
You put those...
DDP's known for suing people. He'll do it.
But he'll tell you it's not a bad thing.
You giving me money for things I don't deserve is a good thing.
It's sad his last gimmick was easily his best gimmick, and it lasted all of, 2 months?
Yeah, because his neck broke.
Oh, man. And then, let's see, we had SmackDown open with The Shield and running down the Evolution feud.
Yeah, I'm not even going to mention the contract signing because...
What was
contract it? I do like that Roman Reigns, cleared out the ring with all the chairs and shit because they were like, this isn't going to be us sitting at a table. I mean, they always end in a fucking breakaway brawl anyway.
That's why one of my favorite contract signings is the whole thing with, CM Punk. They know exactly what's going to happen, so why bother even faking it?
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that was cool.
And then, of course, the horrible, horrible sledgehammer shots from Triple H. Okay, I get it. You don't want to bash somebody in the head with a hammer. Fine, yeah, okay.
It's made out of foam rubber anyway.
But he puts his hand over the head and then smacks you with it.
Yeah, they should have gotten rid of the sledgehammer years ago. They should have never used the sledgehammer.
The last time they used a real sledgehammer, Mick ended up with a huge knot on his head.
Very true.
When Kane missed.
Yeah. Wasn't he, I mean, obviously he was supposed, in storyline be hitting him with the hammer, but
right.
In real life, wasn't he supposed to hit the side of the fucking dumpster?
Yes, he was in the dumpster.
Slid and he still hit him in the face?
Yes, he went to hit the side of the dumpster and then it slipped and it smacked Mick in the face anyway.
Shit, his face was all bruised up.
His cheek was half the size of his head.
The head bald kid, everybody!
And his back breaks as he gets up.
Ah! Oh shit, where'd my smile go?
Sean lost his smile.
Somebody help me find it!
That was so dumb. Okay, look who the next... One of these things is not like the others.
No!
I want to run down who's in this match.
Well, I guess we know who's doing the job.
I would like to run down who's in this match. We have me playing Jake the Snake, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Jack Swagger.
You're out of your league, boy.
You're a C- player at best.
He's a D- player. I hate Jack Swagger.
Oh, man. Cesaro drug his ass through a tag team run, at least.
Yeah.
And Cesaro's the only reason people chant "We the People" with him. I don't know why they still do it, but...
Yeah, they do. that's because they're stupid. They just want to chant something.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see, what else happened with SmackDown and Raw here?
Well, we had the Shield promo. Great promo as always.
Yeah, it's rare to see the Shield in anything really bad.
Yeah, and then the main event of SmackDown, because everything else was just, filler. I mean, like, I remember an interview with Jim Ross when he said, WWE doesn't consider SmackDown the B show, but the fans seem to think that anyway. And I'm like, well, look at what you put on SmackDown.
Okay, I understand it's the SmackDown before the pay-per-view, so I expect a lot of recaps. Okay, but when half your show...
You should also be moving the plot forward!
Like...
It's your last chance to add intrigue to buying the fucking pay-per-view.
Like, okay, I get why the main event happened on SmackDown, but it was really a filler main event. I mean, you have, what was it, Jimmy or Jay? I think it was Jay. It was Jimmy? Okay. So, Jimmy Uso versus Bray Wyatt. Which, I know they've had their schmoz with them over the last couple of weeks. But Cena was not there at all.
And you don't have, like, when you have a gimmick match set up for a pay-per-view, you don't have the heel in that exact same gimmick match a couple of days before that match. And even though it was a good match, you don't put a heel in the same match that he's going to be on at the pay-per-view unless you're going to have him dominate and show how unbeatable he is.
And not...
He barely survived Jimmy Uso. How the hell are we supposed to take him seriously as an opponent to, like, top main eventer baby face of the company?
Yeah, it's nothing against the Usos or anything, but they are not on Cena's level in terms of booking.
Yeah.
So, having him get kind of beat down by Jimmy, you're not making him look very good going for Cena.
No, you know what he should have done is he should have just had Harper and Rowan beat both of them savagely.
Yeah.
And then not let them stay down for a 10 count until he was damn good and ready to say they've suffered enough.
Exactly, and I know it's TV and you have to keep it light, but some chair shots would have really hurt him. Like,
to show the brutality of a last man standing match?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like unprotected chair shots to the head, but could he not have fed them their backs every once in a while, Or at least some decent, like, throw into the steps or barriers or something?
Something to show how ruthless and violent these men are?
Something to make them look terrifying.
Yeah.
And instead, we had a good match, but it wasn't really a good last man standing match.
We had a good match that did nothing to promote the heel.
Yes, it made Jimmy look good.
Who's heading into the semi-main event. Yeah, but Jimmy's not going to be getting a singles push anytime, is he?
No.
His name's not Roman Reigns.
And what's weird is, like, I understand, maybe Bray didn't want to just bury the kid, but, dude, I mean, your booking says you should. Like, this isn't you being a dick. This is your character doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that if that's the case, if he didn't want to bury him, but it still makes you look weak.
Well, there's a difference between a burial and good booking.
Yes, you could have had Harper and Rowan beat them down, and they would have looked no weaker.
Yeah, because that's not a burial. That's just the odds against you.
Exactly, and that way it would have made you look good, and
if they put up a valiant effort and still got taken out. Okay, then that would have made everybody look good.
Yes,
but instead we have to deal with, okay, well, I liked the match, but I don't feel like anybody's coming out here looking more legitimate.
Exactly. And so therefore it makes nobody look better. You mean, they still looked good, but do they look any better than they did last week? No.
Yeah, and this is how you know this is a video game. Triple H just jobbed to Jack Swagger.
I knew you would call that out the moment you saw it. But even my wife, she was watching me play this, she was like, yeah, like Swagger would never beat Triple H. And she's not a huge wrestling fan. And she knew that.
Yeah, that's how much he sucks.
Oh, she hates Swagger. And here's one of my favorite moves of all time, DDT.
But that was a Paisano plant.
I know, I wish he would have just did a backflip and landed into it or something instead of doing, like, the throw, because it made it not his DDT.
It's Jake Roberts, goddammit.
Yeah. But, so, yeah, nobody looked better in that match than they already did, and it made Bray look even weaker, though. Because Jimmy put up a good fight, but now Cena's next, and we're to believe Cena's going to do less than Jimmy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I foresee Bray going down again.
Which, let's give some props to Bray Wyatt. This is a character who's so awesome, being buried 2 pay-per-views in a row hasn't killed him. He's
True.
even more over than ever. And that's not because of good booking.
Yeah, it's just him doing his...
I see you're booking the Ultimate Heart Attack.
Oh, man.
Boy, that guy really got what he wanted, didn't he? I mean, he just wanted everybody to, take him seriously and believe his side of the story. And then, and then he's like, I know! I'll get inducted to the Hall of Fame. I'll go on an hour-long rant where I'll fucking talk shit on everybody. And then I'll die, so everybody will remember me fondly and talk good about me.
He went back to the blood red moon. He went back and forth the mothership behind the moon. His parts unknown.
He turned the levers of the pilot who's already ejected himself and turned the gears towards parts unknown.
Oh man, we're going down.
Oh, even more so. And yes, we all know the Undertaker lost the streak, and still don't get it. But yeah, let's break the streak against an already established crossover superstar who's a part-timer.
Who hasn't been back since Mania.
Yeah, well, he's a part-timer.
Yeah, but what the fuck is he doing?
I mean, Heyman kicks ass because he keeps putting a, he's gonna keep rubbing in the fact that, Heyman kicks ass, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping it alive, the fact that Lesnar beat him, but Lesnar's not been there to, Well,
it was a terrible match.
Oh, it was.
I'm gonna argue that.
I honestly think it was probably the worst match of the pay-per-view, if not one of.
It was probably the worst match on the pay-per-view, and it's one of the worst matches in the streak.
Easily. I mean, even against Giant Gonzala.
Not that bad.
I'm just saying, it's on that list.
I think Giant Gonzalez is if I were gonna do a list of matches of the streak that were the best from worst, it would be number 22. It might actually be number 25. We have to bring the old man back to have a couple more terrible matches. So I can put those terrible matches in front of that terrible match.
Just let him retire already, man.
Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe
he's like, fuck it, I'm done.
Maybe he just told Vince ahead of time that, I'm a broken down old man now. Might as well do what's best for business and put somebody over on my way out.
Who am I fighting? Lesnar? Oh, fuck it, I don't care. I mean, he's been wanting to retire for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's why he'd only been, working 1 or 2 matches a year. But the streak was just so important, and they wanted WrestleMania 30 to be as big and memorable as they could. So I think according to Shawn Michaels, it was Vince's call.
Oh, to have Lesnar go over?
Yeah, that Taker didn't even know that until the show, right before the show.
Maybe that's why he kind of sandbagged it.
Maybe.
I mean, either way, it was a bad match. Either way.
It was a bad match, and that's ultimately what I'm gonna remember. That and all of the really pathetic looking geeks in the audience.
Oh man. Some of the reactions were great, like the black guy. That's my favorite. I know
everybody loves the reaction, but I like the guy who looks like Jeff Goldblum. Just like, kind of like biting on the tip of his knuckle, like he's just like going, we could give the aliens a virus.
I think my favorite fan reaction, I know it's like that one with that little girl when Randy Orton won the title. Just that sourpuss fuck you look she had. Like even she's tired of seeing Orton.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's Randy Orton, who cares? And before we run out of time, let's just fucking cover Impact so we can get it the fuck out of the way.
Okay,
let me see the opening promo, bad. First match, bad.
I took notes, because I knew this was gonna get bad. Okay, so the opening of Impact was Bully Ray limping to the ring. Fuck. So he's face now, or is he still a bad guy? He has not changed his character at all.
Oh, by the way, watch your next Botchamania to see if it's on there. That's not how you spell Lashley!
It's EY, isn't it?
Yes! Whoever had to spray paint those tables couldn't spell Lashley.
Oh, and then of course, the tables got a really crappy table chant.
Really crappy table. Like, God, those Impact crowds are just like, yeah, we want tables.
Okay.
Like, I think the people who do chant are just the ones that are like, you know what, we paid to be here.
Maybe.
Or they're back at the Impact Zone in Universal Studios, so they're just like, well, it's free. It's boring. They're like, it's boring as hell. I want to have some sort of a good time.
Let's just get drunk and chant random shit. Okay, but speaking of the name
Chris Benoit! Oh wait, no, I'm sorry.
Speaking of the names,
Batista wasn't wrestling that night.
Speaking of the name spray painted on the table, other than actually being misspelled, there's a guy named Spud.
Yeah, Rockstar Spud, British wrestler.
Is he a midget or?
He might as well be. He's only 5'4".
I mean, just compared to everybody else, he looked like a baby.
Yeah, and the first guy they put through a table.
Yeah, no shit.
On this crusade, this mission to put all these people through tables. I still like it. I still like MVP. Bobby Lashley's still one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, before you give, I have to talk about this. Bubba, during his promo, said, whether it be today, tomorrow, or next year, I'm putting you guys through a table.
So you know it's gonna be next year, because you know that TNA loves to drag these things out.
I have written here, Bubba's talking about next year. He's kind of being presumptuous, isn't he? Assuming there's gonna be a next year for TNA.
Yeah. Shit's pretty bad.
The arena was empty. Like, hella empty.
ROH is starting to, rebuild itself finally. I mean, it took TNA getting really bad for people to go, oh, well, ROH is in pretty dire straits. Well, maybe I can help them make more money, so I can make more money.
It's still better than TNA.
Because AJ Styles went back. Jay Lethal's been back there for a couple of years now.
They fired him.
Fired!
Why?
Chris Daniels and Kazarian are going back.
Yep.
That makes me extremely happy.
I also have here, like, okay, so when Spud came out to the ring, he looks like the Riddler. I don't know if there was question marks or not, but it looked like a really bad Riddler getup.
He's supposed to be a rock star. Yeah, I don't get it either.
And so, after all that, it led to the first match was a 3v3, and I got here, who the fuck are they versus who the fuck are they ever?
And and oh my god, what a boring match. I can't tell you a single spot, I can't tell you a single moment that was memorable. And they had fucking Austin Aries, like one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, I watched the match and I was going to make a note if there was any good spots or there wasn't any major fuck-ups, but there was really nothing to the match either.
Yeah, well, that's just like how tired of this fucking company they are, that they're just like, yeah, fine.
I also have here one of Taz's remarks for the commentary made me laugh, because he's like, if Lashley messes up, Austin will capitalize. I'm like, yeah, Taz, that's generally what happens when somebody messes up. And he kept repeating it throughout, like, see, Lashley made a mistake and Aries took, control. I'm like...
See what I mean? I know what I'm talking about.
And I got hit some Madden-esque commentary from Taz.
Yeah. Okay, move next.
I do have one more spot I do have to point out that I forgot.
God damn it!
When the two other guys who aren't Aries did the suicide dives, Lashley sat there and just watched and didn't move.
Former ECW champion, everybody.
And then, okay, here's the thing. MVP, he's doing alright. They call him the director of wrestling operations.
Yeah, at least he can cut a good promo.
He's the best thing so far. They called the Roaring Elbow a discus forearm shot.
Yeah. Which is actually a rolling elbow. Joey Styles is the one who came up with the other name.
No, okay. And then they were getting over the guy's injured liver.
Been drinking too much, eh?
We have the next up was the Jamie Lannister looking guy talking to Brutus Magnus.
Oh god, yeah, that was fucking stupid.
And then we cut to the match, and this guy's name apparently is Bram. Versus the Tiger One. El Tigre One. Way to go. Brilliant name.
Tigre Uno, which, if I'm not mistaken, he used to be Extreme Tiger, down in NLX.
That's a better name than El Tigre One.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched NLX.
Yep. And this match was just a fucking...
And he was fucking insane. We're talking like, 450s up through the table on the floor, and,
he lived up to the name.
Baseball slide drop kicks with light tubes, and all of that, but still a good wrestler.
Yeah, he could do the hardcore and the technical side.
Well, the hardcore wasn't just so fucking beaten about your face that it actually felt like it still meant something. So
right. And this entire match was just a fucking.
I'm sure we'll do one of these where I'll have to talk about CZW and my broken heart.
This whole match with Bram and El Tigre One was just your typical squash. Nothing exciting, nothing...
Yeah, and fucking Magnus is the dullest fucking person ever. Fuck that guy, he's so boring. The promo afterwards, was so fucking boring. At least Bram has an excitable look on his face.
It's like, is he crazy, looking? Or is he just fucking coked out of his mind?
I don't care, but at least it's interesting than that fucking Keanu Reeves with a fucking bleached blonde, what is that? What is it? Not a bowl cut, but like a flat top. Fucking this void of charisma, just sucking everything into it.
And then he brings up a wrestler named Willow. Is that who I think it is?
Yep. It's Will the Wisp!
If anybody who doesn't know, and I'm sure a lot of people don't, Will the Wisp was Jeff Hardy's gimmick back in Omega?
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Omega.
Oh my god. He brought
That's how desperate he is.
I caught him.
If you see his promos, he's Bray Wyatt in makeup.
Moving on.
He hangs out in the woods and everything. It's so stupid.
Moving on. Once TNA does this a lot, but after each match, there's like a 30-second to 2-minute long thing backstage.
Yeah.
And with Mr. Anderson, and I don't know who the fuck else that is.
Yeah, nope. I don't watch TNA, folks.
Yeah. It's... I don't know.
One, it's bad at worst and mediocre at best, and I just think Dixie Carter is a really bad person. I think that company is, simultaneously corrupt, and, and they treat their... I mean, anybody who, if you want to know just what a bad company, or just what bad people run this company, just, do a Google search of, look up TNA Daphne or TNA Jesse Sorensen, and just look on Wikipedia.
Yes, that is the... they are just a horrible, horrible company, I think. And then they fired Jay Lethal after no reason either. It's just okay, thanks for all the stuff you've done with us. You're fired.
Yeah, well, it's like they've been letting people go because they don't want them to know, they don't want the people to know that they've been bleeding money for so long that Panda Energy Group, the company that owns them and funds them, is getting tired. They're like, we're tired of losing millions and millions of dollars a year on this thing.
And so that's why Dixie no longer runs the everyday operation thing, right? She has
to get permission from her mommy.
And speaking of which, we'll get to her in a bit. She does, the next match, I think, whatever, it's just a fucking freak show thing.
The menagerie. Well, you missed the bromance. I mean,
I got here the 3 Jersey Shore reject looking motherfuckers. I don't know.
One of them is Rob Echoes, and I love Rob Echoes. So, do you remember when we used to watch 3PW tapes?
Yes.
Yeah, Rob Echoes was the guy who used to hang out with Stryker. Stryker was the guy who liked to do all the 80s gimmicks.
I do remember Stryker.
Yeah, not Matt Stryker, Stryker.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, different guy, same name.
Each match was just a different 80s wrestler.
He came out as the Hot Rod Striker. He came out as the Ultimate Striker. He was Bush Striker Luke once. I mean, and then that was when Rob Echoes came out as Bushwhacker Rob. But yeah, he was Striker's tag team partner, and he just kind of I guess closer to a Danny Doring gimmick. Mm-hmm. Where he was just psycho egomaniac, and I was just like, oh yeah. And then I saw Robbie E when they were doing the Jersey Shore shit, and I went, hey, that's Rob Echoes, good for him. Too bad this gimmick ain't gonna last as soon as Jersey Shore goes off the air.
And they're still trying to push it, at least that's what they look like.
Yeah,
and then you have
at least Rob Echoes is funny.
I don't remember too much. I haven't watched TNA in forever, so a lot of these people I know I've seen them before, and I knew he was teamed up with the really big Rob dude.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Yeah, and then the menagerie came out, and yes, that is former quote unquote ECW wrestler Mike Knox. Boy, is he looking bad.
Wait, the head guy?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I did not recognize him.
Nobody would.
Okay. Speaking of
that's worse than the Aces and Eights angle where they took off the guy's mask and it was Luke Gallows, but nobody knew that, including the commentators. Well, that's definitely a recognizable face. We know that person. Good job, Mike.
I knew who he was after he took off the mask. I'm like, hey, that's the guy that was running around with CM Punk in the Straight Edge Society. That's Luke.
Yeah, or Festus, as he likes to be called.
Oh, shit. And so, we don't really get a match.
Other Kane, as he prefers to be called. Did they give CM Punk Welcome to Chicago, motherfucker?
What is that one? I don't remember that move.
Double underhook into a backbreaker.
Yes, right there.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, Welcome to Chicago, motherfucker. I'm not saying that.
That's the actual name.
That's literally what he named it back on the indie scene.
I wrote here, we got reason number 4,573 that TNA is failing. Just this, and it's just the freak show thing that's going on. It is so... I did not like it, like, at all. But I don't know about their talent, because they didn't do anything.
They don't have any. I looked up every single wrestler on there. Nux is the only one with any actual credentials.
And they didn't do anything other than waste 5 minutes of screen time?
Yeah. Yeah, but at least the chick was wearing some hot pants.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
This is TNA wrestling after all.
And then next up, we get a 15-minute promo thing with Dixie and MVP and his crew.
Oh, God, you're gonna wrestle Eric Young, Bully. No, I'm not. You're gonna have to fire me. Yes, you are, because if you don't, you quit. No, you can't fire me. Wait, what are we talking about again?
And I love, like, MVP's little, like, I think his name's Kenny King.
Yeah.
Every time MVP would say something, he would just bob his head up and down like, yup. That's all he did throughout the entire show.
Well, that's all he ever fucking did in ROH. I know, I understand his reasons for leaving ROH, because he was afraid that the company was going to go under and he was going to miss a lot of paydays. So when TNA offered him a contract, he took it like that day. But he left while he was still a tag team champion with one of the best tag teams in ROH history, and he fucking left his partner. You know, like, and these guys were just starting to, like, really get over, and they were getting some really good angles. And then he just fucking abandons ship, and I'm never gonna forgive him for that.
If TNA, well, I should say when TNA goes under, he's gonna have a hard fucking time getting a job back.
Oh, yeah, like, WWE's not interested in him. ROH will probably not take him back because of what he did.
Yeah, so, dude, way to burn that fucking bridge for a sinking ship.
Yeah.
You went from one company that might fail to one company that is going to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, TNA is obviously in its death throes right now. I mean, there's no question. That company is doomed. I don't see any way that they're going to save it. I really don't. And
by the way, I ordered ROH's last iPay-per-view. I mentioned this to you earlier, how I was like saying how, why don't they just run on Ustream? Ustream has great results.
Yes.
And so they did. And I ordered their last pay-per-view, and it went off without a hitch. There weren't any problems. It was a really good show. And I just think people should know that things might not be perfect, but they're at least on their way up.
Whereas TNA is clearly on the way down.
Has been on the way down for the last 10 years.
Oh, man. At least back then they still had some decent matches, but nowadays...
Yeah, that was like the thing, was like, it was booked horrible, but their talent still gave it shit, so they gave it their all.
Yeah,
but then, and that was with the Vince Russo booking. They're like, well, Vince Russo's an idiot, but we can still work. And then they brought in Hulk Hogan, and of course Hulk Hogan was like, TNA stands for Total Nonstop Hogan! And they're like, you can't spell Hogan with an A. Yes, you can! You just need to bend the arms at the top of the A slightly.
Another thing I loved about that, for whatever reason, say what you want, at least the six-sided ring was TNA's thing, and then the fans were still wanting it, and Hogan just said, fuck you, we're gonna do it my way.
Yeah, and that was all because he totally planned on having matches. Despite the fact that it was like the worst idea ever. Yeah, I hope you sucked. You were broken down and sucked in 98.
Like, what was one of the first matches they had after Hogan got there? Hulk Hogan teamed with, I don't remember who, versus Flair and I don't remember who.
Oh god, the match that where Cage Side Seats made the joke, or like, it wasn't a joke, they actually said, it was, like, cause Sting was involved, and you said, like, all the wrestlers involved equal to having over 100 years of age, not in-ring experience, but that was just all of their ages added together was like 200.
And like when Hogan and Flair got in the match, oh my god, I remember that.
Woo.
And, okay, speaking of back to TNA, Dixie Carter told Bubba, or EY, Eric Young, doesn't have the stomach to do this, and her nephew dude was just like, oh, like she just said the most foul-mouthed thing.
He's like, my abs approve.
But I really had a hard time watching this promo. Like, this whole thing was just bad. Like, MVP does an okay job, but he is just the most typical bad guy in charge character.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. I'm a big MVP fan, so.
If he had more to work with, it'd be more interesting, but they just gave him the most bland thing.
Yeah.
Then
I'm tired of the authority in charge thing. I'm tired of the corrupt authority thing.
Especially just calling him the chief of wrestling operations is the dumbest.
I'm just so sick of them being on-screen characters. Back in the early 90s, Jack Tunney was the on-screen president of WWF.
Yes.
And you barely ever fucking saw him.
It was only when there was there was a controversial thing happening, he comes on, addresses it, and then you never see him.
Yeah, he would have to come out, and then he would tell the referee to tell the ring announcer what his decision was, and then he'd go to the back.
Yes, and occasionally you get the video segment with him explaining what's going to happen, and then that's it. That's all you saw, and that was fine. And then, of course, it started with the whole Vince versus Austin thing that I can remember. And then...
my favorite corrupt authority figure in wrestling, probably history, but definitely in recent memory, was Chikara's Director of Fun. That's the name of their head in charge. The Director of Fun, and they had a guy named Wink Vavasour. And what made him so great was that he clearly had no clue what he was doing. Like, that was the joke.
Right, he was just a clueless bum in charge.
And he would just continuously make continuously stranger and stranger decisions.
Okay, well at least that's different than the snotty I'm in charge.
Oh god, last year when he had they have the coolest thing they do every year is the King of Trios tournament, which I'm gonna give you one guess what that is. And
is it just a bunch of 6-man tag matches?
It is a bunch of awesome 6-man tag matches. God.
I'm sorry, I forgot that one adjective. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As Kevin Nash would probably call it a verb.
But last year he decided that he was gonna choose all of the teams. Like, people weren't gonna be allowed to form their own teams, and he came up with what the hell was it? Chikara metrics, where he had this extremely complicated mathematical equation for who the best teams would make, but it just created all these random teams of people who hated each other.
Okay, again, that's at least got a fun idea behind it. And I could actually get behind that sort of idea.
Yeah, and I watched Chikara's pay-per-view last week too, and that was their big return. They shut down briefly late last year or mid last year, and then they actually turned the shutting down into this really huge, cool storyline. Which I don't have time to explain.
I'm sure that would. Yes.
They had another pay-per-view. It was really good. I would equate that pay-per-view to whatever the opposite of watching TNA is. Oh, good.
Let's continue on to TNA.
Let's go back to suffering.
Next up is the quote-unquote beautiful people. And I don't personally find them that beautiful.
I've got a thing for Velvet Sky.
She's the prettier one of the two, but she looks different from the last time I saw her.
Ever since she was Talia Madison on the indie scene, and she, they don't really ever give her a whole lot to work with, but she can work. She can work, and she, and they can both cut promos. So I like the beautiful people. Okay?
I'm not saying I don't. I haven't watched it, like I said, in a while, and last time I saw it was just Velvet by herself.
Yeah.
I don't like the blonde too much,
Angelina Love.
Yes, I like Velvet better. And they come out, like, let's see here, what
they're just Laycool 2.0, and you know how much I hated Laycool.
Yes.
I didn't hate Laycool themselves. I hate Michelle McCool. Layla's pretty cool.
Layla's still around too, isn't she?
Yeah, Layla's still around. I like her. Never the best wrestler, but she's got energy, I guess. She's pretty and she's got energy.
Their opponents were Gail Kim and I don't remember.
Brittany. I don't recognize Brittany. If she's somebody who's from the Indies or some places I'm used to watching, I don't recognize her. I mean, I guess it's been too long. I haven't been the most disciplined wrestling fan lately.
Even like with Velvet Sky, she looks way different than the last time I saw her.
Yeah, and so is Madison Rain.
Speaking of which, dude, she looks like an alien.
Yeah, she got some bad plastic surgery or something. I don't know what that is. She was way cuter not that long ago to me. Or maybe that's just my perception changing. I don't know.
All in all, the match itself wasn't too horrible for a women's match compared to.
I liked how they built up that Brittany's crazy, and that she was like so desperate to impress that she would like refuse to tag in Gail Kim, not because she thought she was better, but because she wanted to prove that she was worth it.
Yes, and then she did the tag at the end, and that cost them the match.
Yeah.
And all in all, I thought, well, this is better than anything the Divas have put on in forever.
Except for, whatever Alicia Fox and Paige do.
Well, right. But I'm saying, like, as a whole, the Divas division hasn't didn't start getting better until at least a couple of months ago. The Knockouts division has been at least pretty good. It's been at least mediocre. And,
it's been at least watchable. I mean, like, whenever I see, for the last several years, whenever I saw a Divas match, I was like, well, time to take a bathroom break.
Exactly. Especially on a pay-per-view. Oh my god, talk about the obvious, go grab a beer, guys.
Here's the intermission before intermission.
And so, after the match, Brittany calls out, Madison, who there is a cheap lesbian pop because she gets close to her, Madison's face, and the crowd's all like, ooh, type thing.
Yeah.
I was like, dear God.
I miss Mickie James. I'm just gonna say that right now. I miss Mickie James.
Well, it looks like...
They let her go, so she's not coming back.
All right.
She's got bad blood with WWE. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, Piggy James. Yeah.
And I'm sure that wasn't Laycool's fault. They were only doing...
They were doing what they were told.
What booking told them to do.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, God, that is honestly offensive to me. I don't get offended easily.
And so, yeah, it was just a forgettable thing with those two. It was just a typical, I want to be with you type thing. They're making it seem like it's a lesbian thing.
They should have played Mandy Moore's I Want to Be With You. I want to be with you.
And so after that, we get on to our main event.
God, and I'm going to tell you right now, I skipped it.
I've got a few notes here, but...
I got it. They came out. It was like, okay, they're gonna have a technical wrestling match. It's gonna be really clean. Bubba's not a very good technical wrestler.
Exactly. When I saw them doing arm drags and stuff, I'm like, why isn't Bubba punching and throwing this guy around? Why isn't he Bubba bombing? Why isn't he brawling?
Yeah, it was a bad idea. It was like one of those things where it was the right booking decision. But and I don't give a shit about Eric Young.
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised that, he's their world champion? Okay.
Because he's been there a long time, and he has a beard, and the authority. I'm sorry, Dixie Carter has been holding him down.
Right. So, they have, they do the typical, what, Evolution just did, the week before, where they, have, all the heels as the officials of the match. And the reenactor calls his big insult to Eric Young was the Bearded Wonder.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, just stay off the fucking mic, please. You know, and like I said, we get the slow start up with them doing the technical wrestling thing and the whole I don't want to fight you, man type thing.
I respect you, Booker, man!
And then
notice how much fun we were having telling jokes and, there he is! There's the big bigot himself, Michael Hayes!
I love how he's just Shawn Michaels. That's all they did with...
Shawn Michaels ripped him off.
Okay, yes, fair enough, but...
The Freebirds were the shit. But Michael Hayes is a douchebag in the best way possible. And I'm gonna you're gonna edit me out again because I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. My favorite Michael P.S. Hayes controversy was a few years ago when he got suspended for getting super shit-faced in a bar with Mark Henry and said, I think I'm a bigger nigger than you, Mark!
Okay, I'll look at the South Park clip again so I can edit it back then.
That's what he said! There were witnesses! He fucking said that!
Oh man, I don't doubt it.
That man is the greatest drunk who ever lived, and he's wearing the exact same thing as Edge in this clip for some reason.
It's just their
they just reused the same skin, didn't they?
It looks that way. But okay, to wrap up TNA here before we get on to our main event of the video, which I think that would be fun. We get about 5 minutes of wrestling, quote unquote, from Eric and Bubba. And then it just breaks down to the typical, like, heel beatdown thing. And then the apparent return of Samoa Joe, who I didn't know was gone.
Yeah.
And of course...
But Joe's not looking very good. And Joe, you fucking idiot, you had an opportunity to go to WWE. Stone Cold Steve Austin was gonna vouch for you. And you didn't want to fucking do it. What do you think they were gonna do? Put you in the mid-cards for the rest of your career? You're in TNA! They put you in the mid-cards!
And of course, you know, at least we still get a really pretty muscle buster. It's still one of my favorite moves of all fucking time.
I think that's why he doesn't want to go to WWE, to be honest. I think he's used to his style. I don't think he has enough confidence in his abilities as a wrestler. I think he only knows how to work that super stiff All Japan strong style. You know, lots of landing on your head, lots of stiff strikes, chops, kicks, etc. I think he just only wants to work that style. He doesn't want to work a more, I guess, theatrical style or a more technical style or a more showman style. I get what I guess is a theatrical style, my bad, but I think that's why. I think he can stay the same and, make a living in a fucking backyard in Florida. Or he can prove that he's a versatile, worker and that he can work multiple styles, and actually make some fucking money and maybe, big maybe, get an opportunity at being a big guy.
Hey, if Stone Cold's gonna vouch for you, that'll at least give you something.
That'll give you some clout.
And so we end TNA with a Muscle Buster, and this show was just awful. I have nothing else to say about it. It was pure garbage. So,
I would rather watch Batista and The Miz in a 2-hour Iron Man match.
With no pinfalls.
Yes. Only submissions count, and it's in a laundromat.
Okay, so, here's our my final recording for this little thing. I switched to SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Okay.
I think I do the 6-man battle royal. So, just here's our second guest appearance of our show.
Okay.
Just hang on a second. I think I intended this one to be first, so I left some stuff in here. I can edit it out or whatever later. But here we go.
Okay.
God damn, I hated the generic rock shit they put in these. But
it's terrible. Aquaman man!
Believe it or not, 2007 did not have the really long bushy beard.
What?
Yes. I looked for it.
I kind of like homeless Aquabama Man.
I'll point this out too when he actually starts showing full body here when he comes out to his entrance. I mistakenly thought that this is one of the ones you could also put the custom ring entrance music into, but you cannot. It's 2008 that they started that.
Oh!
So I couldn't put Redneck Rampage as his theme.
Next time, Rando.
Next time.
Next time on whatever the hell we're gonna name this video.
Rasslin with Rando and Redbeard, maybe?
Yeah. Rando and Redbeard wrestling with the business.
They did not have a hook, so I gave him a bottle opener.
Well, he is Aquabama Man.
That's my reasoning for him having the clamp. It's his bottle opener.
That's the best thing ever, Rando. You're a genius.
I looked for, like, the prosthetic hand things, and I knew in one of them they give him a hook. But not in this one. So I'm like, oh. So, okay, bottle opener.
Aquaman has a fishing hook for a hand. He's gonna tell since his powers is he could talk to the fish, he can be like, "Hey fish, come here! Gotcha, stupid!"
So, I picked the most, like, redneckish sounding music I could think of for his intro theme.
And we're hearing it now.
Okay, yeah.
We're hearing generic early 2000s new metal.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's pretty rednecky, dude. I gotta say, I like how skinny his legs are.
I looked at an image of him online, and he had the typical, like, V-shaped upper body and scrawny legs. So that's what I was trying to go for.
Fuck you, comic book artists.
So that's why he's got such a broad upper chest and a narrow waist and skinny legs.
He's a Rob Liefeld drawing.
But his head isn't that small.
Best artist ever.
And then, of course, again, the most American thing I could think of, the salutes.
Yeah. You're gonna have to give him Jack Swagger's theme.
If I ever get the newer ones, that's what I will do. I will make sure he gets Swagger's real American thing.
Yeah. Or if you can just, put, like, the audio clip from, South Park in there.
Yeah.
And, who the hell is this ugly fuck here?
Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, that fucking hillbilly. Fuck him! I can't believe, like, how many people were like, oh yeah, Kennedy's the future of this company.
I didn't think he was the worst, but I nowhere near thought he was great.
No, and they're like going, oh, it's so obvious he's gonna be Vince McMahon's missing son. It's wrong what Randy Orton did to him. Oh, they pushed him out because of politics. I'm like, yeah, and look at him now. He's still doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, except for now he's Mr. Anderson instead of Kennedy. That's it. That's the only difference. And he says asshole. That's it.
Yeah, the only thing I like that his name being Anderson is better because it just makes me think of Mr. Anderson from the Matrix.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
I talked like Kermit.
That's all we need, Sesame Street characters doing the announcement. Gee, Bert, this is Hulk Hogan, Bert.
I'm really scared of the darkness and Undertaker's entrance there, Bert. You better hold me. Ernie, I told you not to do that in public.
So that's...
Yep, just disgraced Sesame Street. Not by saying Bert and Ernie are gay, just by comparing them to Mr. Kennedy.
And so, like, everybody in this match was picked at random, because this game has a random select button.
Yeah, I love random select.
Here's another thing about, too, this game. Mick comes out to, his last Mankind, persona, but he comes out to his old Mankind music.
Well, I'm okay with that because I love the old Mankind, so.
Oh, his old Mankind music was great, but his persona is still the last Mankind, back when he was closer to just being Mick Foley.
The more comedic character.
Yeah. So it's...
I don't know what it was about early Mankind.
His squeals, him pulling out his hair.
He was a much darker, more scary character, but right off the bat, like, I guess I initially booed him because he was fighting The Undertaker, but it just seemed with every promo, like, you know, I don't know, I felt like I related to him somehow. I mean, he was the lonely outcast, I guess, and
that's
I always loved him for it.
Well, if you listen to, if you read his books, that's what he was kind of going for with that gimmick. And instead of what they wanted him to be, he was just a shit brown looking psychopath.
Yeah. He brought a lot of sympathy to that character, and especially around that time, coming off his ECW run as Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
When he was really, every promo he cut was just out of the park.
Yes.
And I thought he continued that with Mankind. He made you believe he was legitimately insane because of the bipolar nature of his promos. He could have you laughing 1 second and then immediately have you scared as soon as he's done with it.
Well, look at, now I guess you can call it famous interview or whatever with JR, where he was normal talking to him, and all of a sudden he just broke down and started attacking JR.
He wasn't normal.
Well, what I mean is, he seemed like just a scared, beaten down person, then he turns into just a violent fucker.
He got angry because he didn't like that JR said that he liked pain.
Yes. I did not know Kid Cash was in WWE at this point, until...
As part of a tag team called the Pitbulls.
Wait, was he?
Yes.
I love how his Titantron's just a bunch of ECW clips.
Yeah.
But,
oh man, for a long time he was fucking excellent in TNA. He was one of the best heels they had at that time, and he was part of what made the X Division great.
The last time I saw him TNA is I guess right after this, shortly, because he was, he looked more stocky and he was all tatted up.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I really remember seeing him in TNA. I didn't see his earlier stuff.
Yeah, man, he just had great matches. That's all I can really say.
Even back in the ECW, we were this kid's pretty good. We like him. I mean...
And he was one of their top baby faces, and they turned him heel in TNA, and he just ran with it.
Speaking of douchebaggery, good old JBL.
I loved on Raw with because of what happened the last time when they were like, uh-oh, Alicia Fox is here, JBL, hide your hat.
Yeah. Because she took his hat, King's crown.
That was awesome. Alicia Fox kicks ass.
At least more entertaining than what the Divas division's been in way recent memory.
Yeah.
Now, we'll just have to see the match between her and Paige, and if it's any good. Hopefully they'll put in the effort.
I've seen the matches they've put on Main Event. And the non-title match she won a few weeks ago against Paige. I mean, it was a good match.
Well, hopefully...
I'm not really seeing a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker as a credible finish.
Yeah. It's one of those moves that it's a good move. I like it a lot, but it's such a generic move nowadays that...
Well, I've never seen, unless it was a backbreaker submission, I've never seen any backbreaker finish a match, and that, I'm talking vintage matches in the 70s and shit.
Yeah.
Hell, I've seen vertical suplexes used as a finisher.
God damn it, I lost track of what I was about to say. So, I got a big schmoz here of the 6-man battle royal, and I meant to hit JBL, but I hit the ref. Because this is in the day when you can hit the ref, and there's actually a ref in the ring.
I miss those days.
I think they still have him in the newer ones, unless it's like a no DQ match. I think they just get rid of the ref for some reason.
I love how Mick flipped out of that German suplex.
Yes!
Bullshit!
Oh, I love some of the things in this game because it's shit that these wrestlers would never be able to do. And I love Mick, but he's never gonna backflip out of a German.
Put some fucking effort in. God.
Instead of having universal counters.
Yeah, I hate universal counters because they don't, like, not everybody reverses everything the same way, and that's part of what makes wrestling fun.
That's what they actually really liked about, like, Warzone and Attitude, I believe. If you did not have the appropriate move to counter a move, you could not counter it.
Yeah.
Like, in Warzone, if you didn't have a Hurricane Rana, you couldn't counter the powerbomb with the Hurricane Rana.
But you could with the back body drop.
With the back body drop.
Yeah.
You could, if you didn't have a powerbomb, you couldn't counter the Hurricane Rana that way. It was, I liked that. For such a much simpler game, it actually had some really cool touches to it.
Yeah, Warzone was a good game. Attitude was a good game for its time.
Yeah, I mean that.
And I guess by proxy, so were the ECW games. But by that point, the engine was so old and out of date that it just...
The SmackDown games blew it out of the water.
Yeah, we were just waiting for the new one to come.
Yeah, I mean, we played the hell out of the ECW games because we were big ECW fans. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of sheer fun, we had so much more fun with SmackDown too.
And we just created our own ECW guys and gave them all the belts anyway.
Dude, do you remember when we had that created RVD who literally held the world title for almost 2 years?
Was it? Yeah, I know. How ironic. Wasn't that Red in SmackDown 5?
I think so. I think that's when we created him.
Yeah, we created the Amazing Red. We wanted an ROH/ECW roster, and we like removed as many guys from Raw and SmackDown as we could to replace them all.
Yep.
And I remember we just like we built up Red, and we won the title with him, and then we started a bunch of other characters, and I swear he never lost the title. We did like 4 or 5 more campaigns. He would have been a champion for like 5 years.
Put CM Punk's reign to shame.
Put Bruno Sammartino's reigns to shame.
Yeah, because that Sammartino was just under 4 years, huh?
Between his 2 title reigns, he held the belt for a total of 11 years.
Well, I mean, like his longest reign itself was what, 1,000 and something days?
Something like that.
Yeah, but that was back when they defended the title, what, once a year?
Yeah, title matches were much less frequent, we'll say that.
Yeah, you couldn't get a title change on a generic house show. Well, yeah, you could.
Well, yeah, they didn't have pay-per-view back then, so like there would either be televised specials where the title match was the only match featured, or there would just be really huge house shows.
Yeah. With
a lot of build-up built in them. I think. I'm sure some wrestling historian who hears this is going to be like, no, that's not how it goes.
I know. After watching the old school wrestling guys, even after WWF started getting,
guys, I'm a lot younger than any of these matches that ever occurred. Give me some sort of slack to appreciate that I'm a young guy who still appreciates that there is history.
Yeah, I'm under 30 and I still, understand a lot of it.
Like to think.
Yes. But, the old school guys, they, pointed out that even when WWE started getting, pay-per-views and televised shows, they would still have random title changes at house shows. Including the world title changed a couple of times. So, stuff like that would be confusing, like nowadays. But back then, yeah, okay.
It was to get the, the crowds, keep them interested, I guess. I mean, and Aquabama Man's getting his ass kicked by Bret Hart here.
Just a little bit. His finisher is a combination of the Aquabama Slam and a Aquabama Cloverleaf. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know what else.
What is the national plant of Aquabama? Weed?
The Aquabama weed leaf. I think they're national flowers. A beer can. I don't know.
The Aquabama beer can! The Aquabama beer can!
I mean, at least I can call it the Aquabama Slam, so that's good at least.
Aquabama Slam!
I
Aquabama man getting funky like a monkey!
if you will.
Man, I have some weird kids!
That was great.
That's my favorite Dusty moment.
Just after Goldust and Cody, when he was Phantom of the Opera.
Man, I have some weird kids.
Aquabama Slam!
I love those weird kids. Aquabama Slam! Oh, double cross!
The thing I loved about this game is you still had to have some kind of psychology to it, because if you just did the same moves over and over and over, you would actually lose, like, your meter. The crowd would turn on you.
Oh yeah, they brought that back?
Yeah, so you had to do new moves more often to get more meter faster. So I thought that was a cool little touch for this.
God, it does make me want to watch some old Bret Hart matches. I love Bret.
I still think it's bullshit Hogan refused to even job to him because he didn't think Bret was on his level.
Oh yeah, fuck Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was a dick, but after watching so much of the stuff I have lately, I realized just how much of a dick he was.
Yeah.
So, and I miss Taz's commentary in these games. This match is good.
I like this match.
Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar. Foley.
They got better, but dear God, some of the old commentary was like listening to old Resident Evil.
So awesomely bad. Uh-oh, Aquabama Slam.
I need to give him the Aquabama roll up or something.
The Aquabama roll-a-doob.
Aquahoma Slam.
Does that mean he gets the Oklahoma Stampede? A stampede of water buffalo, maybe?
Oh, there's the Oklahoma Leaf.
There it is!
The computer is so cheap, they can get out of that move so fucking easy. Cause that's the submission, you have to stop the little ball inside the blue line.
Oh, I hate that.
But the computer can hit it, so there we go. Bam!
Oh my god, I was just joking.
The one thing I really like about this game too is, I think they kept it in later ones, that what they call supreme control moves, where you pick them up for a move, but you have 3 options. And if you're in a certain spot of the ring, it does something different. Like, instead of just a power slam, if you're in the corner, he does the bounce off the corner.
I think they introduced that in the Day of Reckoning games. Aquabama Slam!
But I have no stamina to pin him.
Jeez, are you? He's too tired, King!
And
I
Aquahoma
don't
Leaf.
feel good, Cole! Yeah, just hold on a second, King, and Jerry just died. Great.
Oh man, the stamina mechanic, shit. That thing, it took me forever to get used to that. Cause I was just so used to going balls to the wall in SmackDown games.
Yeah. Just button mash, button mash, button mash.
Just chain throws and shit like that. And I love how Bret Hart...
These are a bit more like the Fire Pro Wrestling games, where you have to maintain your stamina and...
another Aquabama Leaf. I need to come up with a name for that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. Eventually I'm gonna try to get some of the later games so I can get more detailed creation, and eventually create, Captain America.
You're right about that computer being cheap. I was like going, how the fuck did he get out of that? Yeah,
you see what I mean? And then I eventually want to create Keith and have him team with Aquabama Man. And I love the eye poke with the bottle opener. That's like an unintentional thing that happened.
That is fucking brutal.
I love how Bret's being pinned after a submission. And I love the foot stomp here.
You gave him every cheap heel move ever.
The big wind up punch that leads to an eye poke.
Yeah, Mick, stomp the shit out of him.
You can't beat Aquabama, man. He's drunk on rage.
And liberty.
He's about to release Sweet Freedom on your ass.
Maybe that's what we should call that move.
What,
Sweet Freedom.
The Freedom Leaf. Peekaboo. Look how
that
long,
was stupid.
Look how long it took the referee to count that.
Can we submit that for Botchamania? That was terrible.
And on that note, good night, everybody.
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
Oh shit.